Good day, everyone. 'Tis I, the Blue Baron, defender of traditionalism. Fides Traditio Monarchia! You're probably wondering why I'm not wearing my monocle today. Well, today we're going on an expedition for our outdoor series, sort of a scouting ahead for the main series. We did our pilot last fall, but we haven't got to the main meat of the series yet. And before we do, I figured it's best if we scout around the neighborhood, figure some things out, and pick up all the man-made litter. Yes, there's unfortunately quite a bit of it. But we're going to get rid of that. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two. Who knows, maybe we'll find a neat treasure or some animal. You never know. Oh, and don't think that I'm not wearing my monocle because I don't like to wear it. I love to. But, well, in sweaty conditions, and if you're going to be, you never know, I might have to jump in the water, so not very practical. Anyway, I'll check back with you when I get to where I'm going. We're going to stop in the park here and see what we can find. I'll be metal detecting here later, but in the meantime, I want to remove some of this junk that's here because, well, we're going to be shooting a series and we want it to look nice, don't we? Yes. We can't have a nature series looking nice if there's litter everywhere, can we? No, not at all. Going to press onward, see what we can find, clean up as we go, and that sort of thing. Alright, continuing onward. In retrospect, this box isn't that good since it has holes in it, but it was the best box I could find, unfortunately. Sounds like one of the neighbors is doing a project. Hopefully they'll keep it a little quieter. Looks like someone left something there. Alright, quick duck into the little forest here. Aw, someone knocked down the fire pit. It's a terrible shame. Terrible shame, that. Well, I'll be checking the post box on my way back. Sorry, pine needle in my boot. Ah, ow, 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 ow. Okay. Slight change of plans. That pine needle has got to come out. Sounds like neighbor's dog has sensed me. There we go. I think I got it. So like I said, folks, this is just the first scouting mission. Probably won't get that much until we're later on, you know. But you have to start somewhere. Oh look, there's someone up ahead. Well, maybe we'll greet them and we'll hand them a business card, shall we? Good day, ma'am. Cleaning up the neighborhood a little and advertising for my YouTube series. I have a show on the internet where well, actually I do two things. One, I review movies and things, but two, I have an outdoor series where I do treasure hunting, metal detecting, magnet fishing, that sort of thing. Yes. If you're interested, I have a business card on me. Alright. Alright, you have a nice day now. Well, we're certainly drawing up interest, aren't we, folks? Oh, there's quite a bit there. Last year they cleaned out the ditch, but nobody bothered to tell them that we didn't want the bulrushes cleaned out, we only wanted the litter cleaned out. So they took out the bulrushes too, which made it worse, of course, as I'm sure anyone with a bit of naturalist in them would tell you. The bulrushes are what filter the water before it goes back into the creek. Gracious, what on earth is in here? People really need to take better care not to pollute this place. Yeah, I bet you didn't think I was such a naturalist. Well, the fact is, traditionalists are actually some of the biggest naturalists out there. Ever heard of the tropes of the gentleman adventurer, the great white hunter, all those? That all comes from the Victorian era. And it's people like us who are generally the most in favor of keeping some natural spaces out there. Granted, for some of us it's so we can hunt there, but still, you need it. And really, hunting isn't all that different than farming. In fact, some might say it's a bit more humane. Well, sounds like the thing's acting up. Oh, how all this stuff ends up in here. Wait a minute. washer fluid with detergent. Honestly. That's probably what that other one was too then, wasn't it? No, that's water. Now, people really need to take better care. That is that. This one is. So it's going to be taken back with us. Disposed of properly. Boy. You'd think people in a rural area like this would be, mind you, it's not the people who live here that do this, is it? No, it's those gosh darn teenagers who come by in their trucks and dump things without care. I'd like to give them a whooping. Yes. Yes, it should be and you're right, it should be their parents that do that. But they didn't, did they? Or else they wouldn't be misbehaving in the first place. It's a lack of discipline. I can tell you, I was not expecting to find this stuff in here. You know what's funny? I wonder how often people of, shall we say, the other political extreme go out and do this. Or even just do this. I mean, this today is a mission with the express purpose of doing this, but even if I'm just walking around and I see something, I pick it up. I wonder how many of them do that. I don't know. It's amazing how an area with so much brush in between the stream and the road could still end up with so much littering. You'd think the brush would form more of a barrier, but apparently not. I say, this looks like a job for my good old machete. Or perhaps not. Nope. That's not going to work. Nope. Just as well. What I need is a longer one of these. Don't know. If any of you know where I can get one, let me know in the comments. Sorry about that, folks. At last. It's about time we found a beer bottle. That's worth 20 cents, you know. Now you're probably thinking, where's the real treasure at? Well, we'll get to that. But, like I said, you have to get some of the junk out first. We want this series to look nice. I actually have heard rumors of a treasure buried around these parts. And I found a treasure map once, but I lost it. Seriously, true story. I found it. Granted, it looked like it was drawn by children, but you never know. Yeah. Never know, it could have been treasure. But, I think the people who drew it still live around here, but the trouble is, I lost the treasure map and I can't remember what the names written on it were. Suppose I could ask my grandparents and see if they remember. Hopefully they do, but, I mean, my grandmother, she probably has the best chance of remembering it, but even she might not. What on earth happened here? Well, looks like some sort of car collision. No one bothered to pick up the pieces. No one ever cleans up after themselves. They expect people like me to do it. Funny thing is, we traditionalists are actually some of the most naturalistic people out there. We are quite in favor of natural things, natural spaces. I wonder how many people on the other side of the spectrum would do something like this. Now, I'm sure there are quite a few, I'm sure. But a lot of people today are all talk and no action. Goodness. What on earth happened here? It's like that scene in 101 Dalmatians where Cruella crashes through the side of the bridge. Ah, at last. Got you. At last, a beer can. Really is pathetic sometimes. Well, into the forest, and then that'll be it for today, I think. But we got quite a bit accomplished, found a lot of stuff. A few treasures. No, that's the other car thing. You know, a week ago, while I was driving home from... where was I driving home from? A week ago, I was driving home from the store around here, right at this intersection, and a wild turkey was crossing the road. Well, he backed up the traffic something fierce. So both sides of the road were stopped. I actually got out of the car and tried to shoo him off the road, and I did. Honestly, I think the other drivers were quite grateful for that, because then they didn't have to wait for him to make up his mind. That's the strange part. This turkey wasn't even really crossing the road so much as walking along the road. Didn't seem to know where he wanted to go. Found out afterward from... Whoops, well, my grandmother said afterward that I shouldn't have got out because that's how people get hit by cars, she says. Well, she's a grandmother, you know, she worries. That's what they do, they worry for us. But I held my hands out, and both sides, like I said, both sides of the traffic were stopped, so it's not like anyone was going to hit anybody. Nobody was moving. Alright, lastly we'll take a look into the forest here. Looks pretty different now that it's spring, doesn't it? Over there, I think, is where the so-called treasure is buried, but I can't be sure. The map said cache under log if still there. Mind you, there are a lot of logs in here. I'm thinking this is a community boat launch after all. Well, look, the moss is coming to life already. These steps are rather askew. But it looks safe. But if I fall in and drown and someone finds this camera years later, oh, I'm sure that won't happen. That's nonsense. What is holding this float up anyway? Well, the camera's running low, so I guess that's the end of it for today. Until next time, I'm the Blue Baron, defender of traditionalism. God bless you all, and remember, Fides Traditio Monarchia!